Hi guys, I'm back. It's Kira, your favorite trauma-informed money coach, and today I wanted to go over my paycheck budget with you guys. For those of you who do not know, I am a trauma-informed money coach. I paid off $111,722.47 in student loans, credit cards, and personal loan debt in 3 years, and now I help other women to do the same, their version, through Budget and Heal, which is the movement. Okay. So today, guys, I wanted to walk you guys through my paycheck budget. Now, full transparency, this is my first time ever sharing my paycheck budget publicly in this way. But I feel like because of the economic times that we're in, it's vitally important for me to be more transparent and more vulnerable with you guys, so you can see someone who was in that situation that has made it out. You can see what it looks like on the other side, okay? So this is my paycheck budget, okay? I created this last summer. We already talked about how important it is to finish what you start, right? You guys remember my previous short clip where I talked about finish what you start. This is that. This is a part of that also. So this is my paycheck budget that I created last summer. I also created a cash flow compass to go with the paycheck budget. Okay. Essentially how this paycheck budget works is you will complete your paycheck. You will start your paycheck budget prior to getting paid. Let me say that again. You will start your paycheck budget prior to getting paid. Why? Because the purpose of the paycheck budget is to plan how you spend the money before the money hits your account. Okay? So with that being said, the way that it works is you will put your paycheck amount here, right? My paycheck amount is, I got paid $4,440.02, okay? Look at the duckies, right? That is my paycheck amount. The paycheck date, I got paid on the 15th of August. And for the record, full transparency, because that's vitally important, I'm a school nurse by trade. Typically, I do not work during the summer, but for the past 2 summers, I have been working. And since I've been working, that gives me 4 checks every month during the summer instead of 2. And the way that works is during the regular school session, the regular 10-month school session, I am enrolled in the teacher's summer savings deduction plan, and they take out $459.67 every pay period. I'm gonna say that again. I'm enrolled in the teacher's summer savings deduction plan, and they take out $459.67 every pay period. That's the money I get paid during the summer months when I'm not working, okay? So that's how my paycheck amount is that big this month. And that's for my first 2 paychecks. I still have 2 more coming this month. So then I circle here, it says paycheck number. You just circle what number it is, because some of us work more than one job, right? So for me, I circle 1 and 2, indicating 2 paychecks, okay? Now, I transfer that information here. So for example, where it says income, this column here says income. I just transfer, my first check was $2,298.36. My second paycheck was $2,144.66. And then I just added an interest payment that I received. That was a little buggy. I added an interest payment that I received for $104.05. Now that interest payment came from my high yield savings account. In my high yield savings account, I typically earn about between $94 and $98 every month. And that's for real, that's passive income. But I'm gonna do another video on that. That's passive income. But this is the first time, guys. This is the first time since I opened the account in 2022. Where are the duckies going to? This is the first time. Look, guys, I want you guys to see. I have to let you guys see. Look. So yeah, this is the first time, pardon the noise, guys. I'm outside in nature. You guys know I love nature. So yeah, this is the first time since 2022, since I opened the account, August 2022. That's when I opened the account. And by the way, it's important to note that I opened the high yield savings account before I started paying off my debt. That was a part of my plan for after I finished paying off my debt. So although I opened it, I did not fund it right away. I funded it maybe a year or two later. I think 2. I don't know, but I'll do another video on that. Nonetheless, so in the income column, I put check number 1, total balance, check number 2, and interest, okay? Where it says budget, it says budget here. So essentially you put the income here and then it says budget here, right? Now, where it says budget, because remember guys, we're completing this paycheck budget before we get paid, okay? We're completing this paycheck budget before we get paid. So typically we know how much we get paid, so we just write that number in here. Where it says actual amount, that's the number that you actually get paid, that's the number that actually hits your account, okay? Remember, this document is interactive, right? It's interactive. So you come back, so essentially you say, okay, I'm gonna work on my paycheck budget. I'm gonna plan out how much money I'm gonna spend for each and every category before you get paid. After you get paid, you're gonna come back and update the numbers, the actual amount column. You're gonna update that column because those are the actual real numbers that hit your account, not what we remember off memory, okay? So this is the income section. This here is the savings section, okay? This is the savings section. And in this section, I have emergency fund. I'm saving $100 for emergency fund. And I do have a fully funded emergency fund, but again, guys, the way the economy is going, it is vitally important for us to step our game up, especially when we're able to, right? So I'm going to contribute $100 to my emergency fund, an investment fund that my fiance and I are working on. I'm going to contribute $400 to that. Household sinking fund, $232.17. Wedding sinking fund. Initially I budgeted for $1,000, but when my paycheck, as I was going through my numbers, I was like, wait, I can't do the whole $1,000 with one paycheck. Let me break it up. So I decided to add $500 to our wedding sinking fund. And that's why this paycheck budget is so important. You see how I put here, I budgeted for $1,000 for my wedding sinking fund. But when the money hit, and I did the numbers, I realized I could only put $500 in this pay period, and then I'll put the other $500 in the next pay period. See? It's important. And then I added $50. I saved $50 for a sinking fund I have for a course I'm going to take. I recently graduated from the Trauma of Money. Amazing, 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 amazing course. If you've had any financial trauma and you are interested in digging really, 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 really deep, check out Trauma of Money. Amazing course, money well spent, right? However, I'm in the process of taking another course. Oh, by the way, I just graduated that course July 18th this year. Super excited. And I've been implementing those strategies and those techniques into my program. My clients love them. I love them. So yeah, and learning is so important. It's so important to consistently learn, because although I paid off a significant amount of money in a short period of time, my clients pay off a significant amount of money in a certain period of time. It's still important to always educate yourself. Always, for me as a coach. So I say all that to say, I'm now saving in a sinking fund for the accredited financial counselors course, which is, I believe the course is between $17 and $2,300. I want to save for it, even though, to be completely honest, I can take the money out of my account and pay for it today. I'm not doing that. I'm not really feeding into the instant gratification vibe. I'm more so going back to old school. Let's save for this. Let's save the money for it. We know it's something that we desire. Let's save the money for it. So I added $50 to that account. And the total amount for let me back up. The total amount for my income for the first two paychecks, and including the interest that I earned from my high yield savings account, is $4,544.07. The total amount from my sinking funds is $1,282.17. Right? Now, what I do is I have the income number. I subtract the income number from the total savings. And then I write where it says amount left, I write that amount here. So my income, $4,544.07, minus my savings, $1,282.17, leaves me with $3,261.90. Now, we're going to go to the recurring bills section, okay? So just to let you guys know, there are 6 sections: income, savings, recurring bills, expenses, debt, and then your budget summary. And I'm gonna walk you through the entire process. So for the recurring bills section, this is where I write down the bills that I pay every single month. They're recurring, right? So my rent is going up September 1st. It's going from $1,342.66 to $1,395. So I put that number into my budget in June because I wanted to prepare myself financially, and I wanted to prepare my budget. I wanted to prepare myself financially, and I wanted to make sure, because typically I always, and they show me grace. They for sure show me grace. They don't charge me a late fee, but I always send the same amount after the lease has been renewed. And they like, excuse me, you owe us money. And I was like, oh, okay, my bad. So I put it in to be more proactive. So my rent starting September 1st, $1,395. $1,395 divided by 2. Why? Because I pay my rent bi-weekly. Every time I get paid, I pay half of my rent, okay? And the reason why I do that is because it creates breathing room for me. I don't want to pay rent with one check. I don't want to do that. Even though I can, I don't desire to do that. I don't really like that. I don't really like that. So I'm rambling, my bad. So what I decided to do is, I budgeted $697.50, which is half of $1,395. PSE&G, $240. That's not, keep in mind, guys, I have several sinking funds. And the reason why I have several sinking funds is because I like to keep money separate. I don't really like to intermingle money. I like to keep it separate. So I have the PSE&G. I paid $240 for. Now, typically I pay my utilities, which is PSE&G, one time a year. I estimate the price, right? I do a rough estimate. My PSE&G bill is roughly $40 every month, right? My PSE&G bill is $40 roughly every single month. So 40 times 12 is $480. So last month I paid $240 on my PSE&G with one check, and now this month I paid the other $240 with this check. Now that means that my PSE&G, my utilities, are paid up for the year until August 2026. Paid, done. Okay. Then my phone bill, $180. So my phone bill is $30 a month. I just multiplied 30 times 12, gives me $360, right? And yeah, give me $360. I divided those payments the same last month. I paid $180 on my phone. Excuse me, guys. I paid $180 on my phone bill last month. This month with this pay, I paid $180. That means my cell phone bill, done, paid up in full for the year until August 2026. Okay. Easy Pass. Normally my Easy Pass is $30 a month, right? But because I went to get microblading on my eyes, this is day, I want to say, well, it's been a week. It's been a week today, and it has started to peel. If you guys can see, it has started to peel. But I absolutely love it. Nonetheless, I normally pay $30, but because I went to New York City, Brooklyn specifically, I had to add a buffer. So I added $30 extra. So I added $30 extra, and that brought me to $40. So then laundry was $10. Ties, $25. I paid a lump sum August 4th. I think it was August 4th. I paid a lump sum August 4th, and then I'm paying $25 this pay period, and then next pay period I'm paying another $25. Gas, $60. Food, $68.94. That brings my total for recurring bills to $1,591.44. Remember, I'm subtracting from what we had left over, right? So that brings the amount I have left to work with to $1,670.46. All I'm doing, guys, is I took the total amount that I got paid. I took that total, and then I added my sinking funds. I added how much that is, and I subtracted how much my sinking funds, my savings, are from my income. Then that gave me $3,261.90. Then after I calculated my recurring bills, $1,591.44. Right now I have left over $1,670.46. That's recurring bills. Now, when we talk about expenses, guys, it is vitally important to be able to differentiate, for the sake of this paycheck budget, the difference between recurring bills and expenses. So when we talk about recurring bills, we're talking about rent, PSE&G, gas, groceries, right? Those are recurring bills, bills that you pay on every single month like clockwork. When we talk about expenses, for the sake of this paycheck budget, when we talk about expenses, we're talking about one-offs. So for example, the microblading. I paid, I paid for microblading. I budgeted $528, right? But the actual amount I paid was $600. That is a one-off. Microblading is a one-off. That's not something, excuse me for the noise, guys. Microblading is a one-off. That's not something that I pay every single month, okay? My cousin's birthday. Oh, back to budgeting versus actual amount. When we talk about budgeting versus actual amount, I budgeted $528 for microblading, but when I got there, she said, "Oh no, I think the combo would be nice. I think the combo would look really nice on you," and that was more money. So I budgeted for $528, but the actual amount was $600, and this is why budgeting and amount, the budget and amount columns are so important, okay? So for my expenses for this pay period, microblading, $600. My cousin's birthday, $81.28. My license, I am a registered nurse. I believe I told you guys that. I'm a registered nurse and I have insurance. Basically, I have insurance for my license. And the reason why that's important is because just as important as it is, guys, for us to pay off debt, for us to make money, for us to save money, it's just as important to protect the money that you are making and saving, okay? And above all, it is important to protect people's lives. All right. So my license, my RN license insurance, $273. Vitamins. I got some vitamins, some plant-based vitamins. I budgeted for $50, right? I budgeted for $50, but the vitamins were actually $37.32, which saved me a few bucks. I got my fiance an SD card. That was $48.57. So the total for my expenses is $1,040.17, which leaves me with $630.29. Then we come here, guys, to the debt section. This is for debt. I owed $129.55 on my American Express card. And after I did that total, I paid $129.55. And now I'm left with $500.74. After my pay, $4,544.07, I'm now left with $500.74. So what I'm about to do now, guys, is take all of that information and put it right here in the budget summary. The budget summary asks you to list your income, right? So my income for right now, for these two pay periods, plus the interest that I earned for my high yield savings, was $4,544.07. Reoccurring bills. Then I go to reoccurring bills. I see the total right here, easy peasy. I write that in, $1,591.44. Expenses, go right to expenses, look at the total, $1,000, easy peasy, $1,040.17. Debt, $129. I look right here, total, $129.55. Savings, easy peasy, look right here at the total, $1,282.17, right? And I wanted to do this with you guys in real time. So we're going to calculate everything just to make sure. We always want to make sure. We don't want to verify that we got the numbers wrong by incurring an overdraft fee. We want to create the time to verify our numbers in real time, in nature, where your nervous system is calm, the sun is shining on you, you know, the ducks are in the pond, you know, nice, calm, easy breezy. So my income, just to run this back, just so that we're clear, my income, $4,544.07 minus all of my savings sinking funds added together, $1,282.17 minus all of my recurring bills added together. The total recurring bills all added together, $1,000. So that's minus $1,591.44 minus my expenses for this pay period only. That total was $1,040.17 minus my American Express, $129.55, $1,255 equals, I have $500.74 left over, right? So that is what's left. So now I would like to do some quick math. Well, no, I'm not going to say that, because let's not do math quickly. So that means our total, the total that we spent was $4,043.33. Right? That's the total that we spent on our paycheck budget. Super easy, super convenient, right? All you'll need, honestly, you have to know your numbers. It's vitally important that you know your numbers, okay? That's important. You have to know your numbers, exact numbers. That's important. You also have to, it's also important for you to remember that this is only for one paycheck. One pay period. So if you get 5 paychecks in that one pay period, that's fine. You can add that here, but it's only for one pay period, okay? And don't forget, you're actually going to start your paycheck budget before you get paid. The whole intention behind your paycheck budget is to plan out how you're going to spend your money, okay? So we're not done yet. This is the cash flow compass. And the way that the cash flow compass works is you will transfer the information, you will transfer your categories here that are here onto your cash flow compass, with the exception of your income. You're not going to transfer your income here, okay? So there's a column here. This is for the category. The next column is for the amount, okay? The next column is for the due date. The next column is for the date paid, and the next column is for notes. So let's walk through the cash flow compass. I just wrote down emergency fund, right? Emergency fund. Remember, I contributed $100 to my emergency fund. The due date for my emergency fund that I gave myself was April 15th. The date that I paid it was April 15th. And in the notes section, I simply wrote paid from checking account. Why is the notes section important? Why is the notes section important? The notes section is important, guys, because you want to be able to track your expenses and track when you paid it from which account, so there's no issues. In the event you ever have to dispute anything, you have all your information right here. I am in the process of putting these sheets onto a notepad, front and back onto a notepad for you guys, to make this a little more easier, a little more clean, a little more convenient, right? So I'm in the process of doing that now. I sent out for the samples, what's today, Friday? Wednesday. I sent out for the samples Wednesday. So that's how that works. That's how that's going to work. Now, the last thing we do with the cash flow compass is you check off, you check this area, right? For each category, you check it off, not when you pay it, not when it's due, not when you pay it. You check it off. It has cleared in your account. When that transaction has cleared and has come from your account, then you check it off. Done. Okay? I hope that was helpful, guys. I know it's a bit long, but I promise I wanted to walk you guys through this process. I will put the paycheck budget into the show description. I also wanted to read you guys something. For each category, I wrote some encouraging words for you as you go through your paycheck budget, because it is so important to acknowledge the fact that there are a lot of people, there is a significant amount of people who are afraid to do their numbers. They are very avoidant. They have avoidant behavior. They avoid opening the mail. They avoid opening their bank statements. They avoid looking at their numbers. And I wanted to create a super simple paycheck budget that will give you confidence as you're going through this journey. Okay, so in the income section, it says count your blessings. Each paycheck is a stepping stone toward your goals. In the savings section, it says think and plan ahead. Your future self will thank you for the choices you make today. In the recurring bills section, it says pay your bills on time. Punctual payments pave the path to peace. I'm gonna read that again. Pay your bills on time. Punctual payments pave the path to peace. In the expenses category, it says spend wisely. Each decision today shapes your financial freedom tomorrow. In the debt category section, it says clear your debts, clear your mind. Freedom starts with accountability. Okay? And then in the budget summary section, the last section here, it says take control of your finances. You got this. I hope this was helpful to you guys. I will for sure come back and make sure I go over my last 2 paychecks for the month of August. I will go over that with you. I will be including in that one my KDP royalty payments from my book, Over Leveraged, 10 Steps to Getting Out of Debt and Out of Survival Mode, which is on Amazon, guys. Check that out. I wrote a workbook. It's actually an interactive workbook. And I basically teach you guys how I got out of the 6-figure debt of credit cards, personal loans, student loans in 3 years. I told you guys what I did, how I did it, and what I would do differently. The book is on Amazon, and it is titled Over Leveraged, 10 Steps to Getting Out of Debt and Out of Survival Mode. And every time someone purchases that book on Amazon, I receive a royalty check. I receive a royalty deposit into my account. And that's another form of passive income. So far in this video, we talked about 2 forms of passive income I have. 1, the high yield savings account, the interest that I earn from the high yield savings account. And then 2, the KDP royalties from my workbook, my financial literacy workbook. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. This video has been long enough. I thank you guys so much for coming. If you have not done so already, please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you care. Please. All right, y'all, later. Have an amazing weekend ahead.